As a New Jersey surfer, we're used to dealing with frigid conditions. Air temperatures in the teens and 20s and water temperatures in the mid to low 30s. However, in January 2014, New Jersey experienced a polar vortex, which completely changed our entire opinion on how cold winter surfing can actually get. Temperatures dipped into the single digits below zero, and wind chills brought the overall temperature down to the negative 20s and 30s. However, with icebergs in the water and the ocean at 28 degrees, there was still waves to be surfed. So New Jersey surfers experienced a 2-week window where they were surfing barrels next to snowfall and frozen water. Good morning, NUB Nation. Ben Gravy here. If you're new to the channel, I am a semi-professional novelty wave hunter. And today we're going to be talking about the coldest that it's ever been.
You've really got to love it if you're surfing in New Jersey like Ben Grief, who, as you can see, has decided to go out and surf the polar vortex.
This morning, it's 40 degrees out and the waves are pretty flat, and I can just feel that encroaching winter freeze and that just deep frozen bite inching in. And it reminded me of a few years ago when all of this was ice. It was completely frozen over. The bay was frozen, the ocean was frozen, and there was huge icebergs in the water. And it got me thinking, how does New Jersey compare to the coldest places on Earth to surf? During this polar vortex here where I live in New Jersey, the temperature got down to 4 degrees Fahrenheit. And with the wind chill, I remember them saying it was about negative 14 degrees out. I know a lot of places in the world get a lot colder than that, even places in the United States, in Chicago and Minnesota, Michigan, up by the Great Lakes. It gets colder than that in New England, you know, north of here. But I'm still wondering, how does New Jersey stand up against the coldest breaks on the earth? So I Googled the top 5 coldest places to surf. We have Tofino, Canada. The air temperature varies between 3 and 19 degrees Celsius. Kamchatka, Russia. The winter, the minimal temperature can reach negative 14 degrees Celsius and a maximum of negative 6 degrees. Thurso, Scotland. The average temperatures can go down to 4 degrees in the winter. Reykjavik, Iceland. Temperatures in the wintertime are about negative 3 degrees. In Lofoten, Norway, it's about an average temperature of negative 5 degrees in December. What trips me out is that it actually gets that cold around here. It easily gets down to 15 degrees, 10 degrees in the wintertime here. And the year that we had the polar vortex, there was a complete phenomenon happening where the ocean and the bay actually froze. So I looked up saltwater freezing, and here's what it had to say. Ocean water freezes just like fresh water, but at lower temperatures. Fresh water freezes at 32 degrees Fahrenheit, but seawater freezes at about 28.4 degrees Fahrenheit because all the salt. When saltwater freezes, however, the ice contains very little salt and the water only partly freezes. So I guess the salt itself doesn't actually freeze because it melts the ice. It was January 2014, and that is the year that we had the polar vortex, and the ocean itself froze over. While the ocean was frozen over, I remember that it just being flatter than you could ever imagine. Like, there was absolutely no swell in the water, and I just felt like the ice sucked up like all the swell. There was literal icebergs in the water, and I went out in the inlet and I paddled around, and there was floating ice chunks. Like, it was absolutely the most cold thing I have ever experienced. The water was literally 28 degrees Fahrenheit, which is quite literally below freezing. And that winter, we actually had a couple of really good storms. During the polar vortex, there was barreling waves, and it was the trippiest thing ever because there'd be icebergs in the bay. The bay was completely frozen over, and at the same time, we're right next door in the ocean getting barreled. All right, here is an article from January 8th, 2014, right in the heart of when that polar vortex was happening. It's from NJ.com. All of New Jersey fell into the single digits or below zero this morning, and wind chills dipped to negative 33 at the High Point Monument, according to the New Jersey Weather and Climate Network. Water mains burst, flights were canceled, schools closed, and trains ran late as low temperature records fell across the Garden State. Negative 33 degrees. Now, I remember by me on the coast, I distinctly remember it getting down to negative 14 the day before a swell, and that's when I paddled around in the icebergs. But negative 33 degrees has to be some type of record. I've Google researched the top 5 coldest surf spots on the planet, and out of all of these locations and the temperatures listed here on this website, that polar vortex in New Jersey competes with all of the top 5 coldest surf spots on the planet. Now, New Jersey is definitely not known for being the absolute coldest. We definitely get snowfall on the beach. We get freezing temperatures below zero. Our water gets down into the 30s. But this winter in particular, when our salt water reached 28 degrees and we had actual frozen seas, our surf breaks competed with the top 5 coldest places to surf on the entire planet. That is mind-blowing information that I never thought about or even considered looking up until this morning, when the outside temperatures here reminded me of what we dealt with that winter. And out of the top 7 coldest places to surf on the planet, Scotland, Nova Scotia, Lake Superior, USA, Alaska, Iceland, Antarctica, and Russia. Russia is the coldest, where you can experience temperatures of negative 14 degrees in the winter. In New Jersey, we got temperatures almost that cold. Now, I'm not saying New Jersey gets colder than the coldest places on earth to surf, but the fact that we even were in the same category for one winter season is completely mind-blowing to me, and definitely something that I'll never forget. And as I look over the bay here at my home break at El Salamo, I see pristine bay water and just a little bit of wind texture on top of it. And even though I experienced the polar vortex firsthand and paddled around in ice in these waters right here, I can still never even imagine seeing icebergs out here at my home break ever again. So that is the coldest that it's ever been, or at least the coldest that I've ever experienced New Jersey while surfing. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you have any questions or any comments about this, please leave them in the comment section below. And let me know if you guys want to hear about any other surfing related topics. Besides that, for the dream. So one of the other coldest things I've ever heard about is my buddy Burton
Kelly Slaker,
the legendary lake surfer. Him and Will Wall surfed on Lake Superior in negative 50-degree weather. So those guys are absolutely bonkers, mate. But I also wanted to touch on the fact that you often see photos of the Great Lake surfers with ice beards. The reason that they're able to have those ice beards is because that water is fresh water. So once it hits the freezing air, it freezes. Now, I don't have a beard myself, but I remember when we went to the Great Lakes to surf with Burton, when I got out of the water, the strap that tied my GoPro to my wetsuit got completely covered in ice, and that's how cold it is there on a regular basis. Surfing in the Great Lakes, epic, gnarly, super cold, but unexpectedly some amazing waves. And props to Burton for being the absolute legend out there. Yeah, Bert.